Hey, what's going on everybody? Another video coming at you. And today's video is actually going to be the build. Okay, so what I did, for the low oil sensor, I used a 3/8 bolt, a washer, and then I put some right stuff around the washer so it could, a little extra seal. And as you see, flat washer, lock washer, and a nut. Where the governor arm came through the top, I drilled it out, tapped it with a 5/16 bolt, used some thread tape and a lock washer, and I tightened that down. And then on this guy, where the gear was, I tapped that a 1/4 inch and just ran a bolt in it. I didn't want to put a washer on it because it would stick out too far. I'm hoping that it does not mess with the clearance and get in the way of the flywheel. So if it does, I'm gonna have to grind some of this down so it clears. And then for a safety, little reassurance, even though it was threaded, I put a lock washer on the inside with some right stuff and used a 1/4 inch nut. All right, so we have a new crank, but make sure it's all the way closed, zeroed out. What I'm gonna do, I want to check this. It should be like 1.188, I believe. And we're measuring the journal on the crank. 1.187 at center. We're going to the left, 1.187. Now let's go to the right. 1.187. Alright, well, the crank is, it's good. It's within spec. It's got a couple little marks on it, I guess where they started from the factory. So, let's close this up. And I take the battery out of my digital caliber so it does not run it down. If you want to get some new batteries, just look at the number on the battery and you can get them on Amazon. You get a pack of 6, pack of 20, whatever suits your budget. So, further ado, the crank is good. I was going to remove this gear, but I don't know, might just leave it on there. Say heck with it. Alright, now what I need to do, I need to get ready to put my piston and wrist pin on my connecting rod. Alright, so here's a little tip. If, say this is your, oh man, I'm already bleeding. If you're putting this together for your first time, alright, if you notice on the rod, there's a dot right there. Well, if you look at your rod cap, there's a dot right there. Align those two dots and you're good. You can't go wrong. If you don't pay attention to that, it will fit on there backwards. But as long as you have the two dots on the rod and the cap lined up, you're good. Alright, so I'm taking my time, I'm doing this. Come on baby, focus. There you go. I'm measuring the ring gap. And in my case, it's calling for the top ring after I did my math. 10/1000ths of an inch. Well, that's pretty much spot on. Now, from what I was gathering, I got one oil ring down at the bottom. This is a two piston ring piston. You got your oil ring and your compression. No scraper. I guess the top one acts as both. But you have to measure the distance of the cylinder side to side. That way you get your bore size. And then on your chart, these pistons should come with it. You measure top ring, as it says, 40 thousandths. So you multiply, what was that? I think it was like a 2.7 2.76, something like that. And you multiply it by 0.004, and that's when it'll tell you 10 thousandths. Now the second ring, from what I was reading, they want a little bit slightly bigger gap. So I'm gonna add that up, see what that is, set my feeler gauge, and see how that feels. And see if I need to take anything off of it, maybe a thousandths. Alright, so that's what I got for my bore size, 2.742. And I'm going to multiply that by 0.0050. Alright, I tried to zoom in, but I couldn't. So I redid the math. At 2.742 times that about 40 thousandths of an inch. And it came out close to 11 thousandths on your top ring. So I checked it, 11, 12 thousandths, it was good. I say minimum 10 thousandths ring gap. Now I'm gonna check the oil ring, and the math I got on that was almost 14 thousandths. So I'm gonna check it at 13. Wiggles a little bit, so I'm going to jump up to 14 thousandths. Goes in between. Let's look for 15. It's looking like these are already coming preset. Like it says on the sheet, 15, can't go wrong. Say minimum 10 thousandths. The oil rails may be installed without modifying the end gap. The end gap should be a minimum 10 thousandths. And it's looking like we're way above that. So I am going to call it safe. Alright, 16 thousandths of an inch. That's what that one's set at. So I'm going to take that one out. I'm going to put my other one in because I want to measure that and I want to make them equal. Get your piston, put it in there, just push it down, try to make it level. Alright. Let's see if the 16 thousandths of an inch feeler gauge goes in there and it's snug. Feels the same. So, alright guys, I didn't get it on video and it took freaking forever. It probably took like 30 minutes to figure it out. But the goal is not to nick up your piston. Which I got a couple little spots I'm gonna have to get out. But the easiest way I found on these Wyco pistons, and you guys will see, and if you've already done it, you know. But it's not like a U-shaped clip. It's over 360. But then it U's back around like a spring. And the quickest way to get it in there is grab it in the center where it's a single instead of where it's double, where it springs, and push it down in there until you get it in there. Yeah, I'm telling you, dude, it's a nightmare and it's a pain in the butt. But if you get it, you get it. Try not to lose your clip. I had one that flew across the garage and luckily I got good ears. Somewhat, I don't know how. I was able to locate it. But I'm gonna clean this up. Just a couple little nicks I have on it, make sure there's no rough spots. And then I am going to install my piston rings and get this piston put in. I'm doing now, I'm working my oil ring on there. I have to put this bad guy on there. We have a thin ring on the top, thin ring on the bottom. Pay attention to where your gaps are. I don't like putting the ring gaps where the wrist pin is. I usually put them, you know, say the oil ring, I'm gonna put caddy corner here, and then my compression ring, I'm gonna bring over here. Always keep them away from each other and never put them on the side where the wrist pin is. Alright, got my oil ring on. And there's my gap. Bottom one I need to turn a little more. Over the top. Turn it. Come on there. Alright, now they're about equal. I'm gonna clock it just a little bit away from the other one. Alright. Come on. There we go. Those I'm gonna have them like caddy. Now, the top ring, you'll see a number or a dot or a letter on it. I want that facing up towards the top. Slowly work it on there. We got our oil gaps here, so we'll turn that to the back side. Put a little bit of motor oil on your finger. Put in the cylinder wall for easy installment. Get a little bit more on your finger. Go down here to the crank. Turn it to the bottom so it's easier to get to. Put some on the crank. Don't be shy to pre-lube the bearings also. Alright, now I'm going to install my rod bearing. Gotta get it down flush. Also look at your oil hole. Make sure you don't have any of that covered up. Alright, now this guy, you can't put these on wrong. You know, they're cut out specifically. So, I mean, you can't go wrong. A little more. Ooh, too much. More on this side. Alright, she's flush. Oil hole for the dipper arm is exposed. Alright, so we're good. Pre-lube the bearing. Get some more motor oil. Put it on your piston ring. Yeah, I'm just dabbing it because I don't want to turn my rings to get them offset, because if you get them lined up or in the wrong spot, you're going to have an engine that's going to smoke. And we don't want that. unraveling your piston ring compressor, don't go too crazy, man. That thing spring loaded. It'll uncoil and whack you. Alright. See, where's our dot? There's our dot, so we're going to want that over there. And actually, I put my numbers facing down. It's alright. It'll work either way. Dots are lined up. Let's press our piston. You don't need to go too crazy when you tighten it either. The oil that you put on there is going to help it slide out of it. What I do, I'll take a little hammer, tap around. Tap around, that way it squares it up. This guy being stubborn. Alright. Make sure your dot the right way. Use a soft end. There you have it. Piston is in. Alright, so now you can see piston's in there. Let's get some oil on the rod cap and we can get ready to install this. Put a little bit of oil on your rod bolts too. Don't go overkill on it. You don't need much, just to lube it up. Alright, now this is critical. When it comes to torquing the rod, Arc Racing, they send you a sheet and it gives you step by step on how to what you need to do on how to torque this and the proper way of torquing it. I would recommend doing it how they say it, because if not, it could lead to catastrophic failure. And not only that, you'll be out of time, you'll be out of money, and let's face it, nobody likes breaking stuff when they're racing. So as long as you do it how they say to do it, you should be good. And another thing I would recommend, after you get it running and everything, and you put, maybe I want to say between 1 to 5 hours on it, go back, change the oil, pop side cover off, go back and re-torque these. Check your torque specs, because I've heard stories of guys where they didn't and the rod started knocking. Alright, torque sequence for this, they say start off at 60 inch-pounds. Now this is inch-pounds, not foot-pounds. And then after you jump back and forth, say torque it, 60, you're going to go up 20 intervals. So 60, 80, and so on until you reach, see, I used oil on mine, so it says torque it up to 170 inch-pounds. So I'm going to get to torquing. Alright, Here we go, first torque. Man, boy, these things are tough to get in there, I will say that. £60 here we go. Alright, that one's at 60. Come on, baby, get off there. Now, try to get to the top one. Alright, there's 60. I'm going to finish torquing this and I'll bring you back. Alright, after you torque it to your 170, go ahead and spin it. Make sure it feels good. There's no binds. Wow, boy, that piston does come up to the top. Woo! Can't wait to hear this thing thump. TDC right there, true top dead center. And then another trick you want to do when you torque your rod, grab it. You want to have a little side-to-side play on it. If it does not do that, you over torqued it and you will spin a bearing. Too loose, your bolts will come loose, come loose, and you will get a rod knot. Alright, next what I am going to do, I am going to install my tappets. Get a little bit of oil on there for assembly lube. Now, I'm going to get my dyno cam 308 cam, and as you see, it's got a bunch of dots on there with numbers. So you get advance or retard the timing on the cam gear. In this case, I'm just going to find the stock mark and run with that. Off 1, 2. Oh, baby. Here we go. Dots line up. It's cam's time. Next, I need to get my head gasket and get ready to set the head down on there with some clay, because I want to make sure that these valves aren't going to get into my piston. Alright, after you get your cam stuff in and everything timed, I went ahead and put the side cover on. I don't have a gasket on it yet, and I just snugged 4 bolts on there because it's coming back apart. But I'm going to get ready to put the head on and go from there. I think this is going to be a 2-part video, and because I'm running out of time on my phone. So this is going to conclude part 1 of the Hemi 212 Predator race engine build.